The Tinkerer mask is finally here. Long awaited exotic that we've been waiting for all season, or the moment we heard that this was going to release. And of course, this is going to just change the game, the amount of builds we can make, all the fun stuff. But let's get straight into it. This is my first build with the Tinkerer. So, how does this exotic work? This exotic mask comes with the talent Abridged. If your primary and secondary weapons are not exotic or named, and of the same type, the secondary's weapon talent will also be applied to the primary. This does not apply if the primary or secondary talent is a weapon swapping talent, and it doesn't apply if the talents are the same. So we can't run double sadist. We can't run anything that'll swap. I can't think of any talents off the top of my head. The names, like we swap weapons and stuff. So it needs to be just normal weapons, non-swapping talents. So of course I had to start this off with running a striker. I know it's kind of going to be the go-to, and I figured using this mask, this will sort of be the go-to or the typical striker build with the Tinkerer mask. So we'll go through the pieces that we're running on the gear really quick. Of course, typical is a Grupo chest piece with Obliterate. We have double crit on there with a crit chance mod. Brand set gives us some crit damage, works really nice. Now for the holster, it's a striker's holster. We have that rolled to critical hit chance with the core rerolled to armor. We are also using the knee pads, which these have critical hit damage. We're using the gloves, which have critical hit chance on them, and the core rolled to armor. And then, of course, we need to use the backpack since we're not running the chest piece or mask. And the backpack, of course, gives us the increased weapon damage. It goes from 0.65% to 0.90%. A huge increase when you think of overall at max stacks. Initially, it doesn't sound like a lot. At max stacks, this really does do damage. Now, of course, the bag, we have this roll to critical hit damage with a critical hit damage mod. And Striker, I don't need to explain. We all know what Striker does. So now for the main part, the main event, the weapons. So for my primary, I am using the FAMAS 2010. Shoots fast, hits hard, probably arguably one of the best non-named ARs in the game, if not the best. And as you can see here, I have this rolled to damage the targets out of cover. I don't know if anyone uses anything else when it comes to the weapons attributes. I personally haven't even tested using any other attributes. I usually just stick to damage targets out of cover. Works well, obviously, unless you're probably running some sort of hybrid support build or anything like that. That might change for you. I tend to run a lot of damage forward builds, so damage targets out of cover is my go-to. Now, for the talent on here, I am running Killer. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants 70% critical hit damage for 10 seconds. This is huge. An extra 70% increased critical hit damage is enormous. If you look at our stats here, we're at 56.8 critical hit chance, and we're sitting at 124% critical hit damage. So when we're proccing that talent, that increases by 70%. So we're going almost to 200% critical hit damage with the Killer talent procced. Now to balance this out really nice, I decided random assault rifle. I just put the ACR on there. I'm not switching to it anyway. You kind of need to run your primary most of the time. But I do the talent Streamline. Streamline gives us an increased 42% weapon damage when no skills are on cooldown. Now, of course, that's huge. We're getting increased critical hit damage for the main talent. The secondary talent is giving us 42% weapon damage. So we're just shooting up what this build would initially do in a way. Now, because we're running Streamline, I try to focus on skills that don't have a long cooldown to have Streamline up and running again. So the first one I ran was the shield. I do have the firewall shield with obviously firewall specialization. I use this because we get that increased damage to people that are within the vicinity of our little pulse that we have in front of the shield. And this is more so for like quick emergency moments. Streamline is not active while we have the shield out, so that it's only getting taken out if we need quick cover. We can't find cover. We need some sort of protection to kill one or two enemies, and then we drop the shield. It comes back within a few seconds, our Streamline talent, so it balances out really well. Now, as the second skill, I have the decoy. Decoy, same thing when it comes to the shield. There's a low cooldown on it, so I get streamlined back pretty well when I really need to use it. And like I said, this is only being used when emergency situations. Maybe I need a minute, maybe I need attention away from me. I drop this, it gives me a moment. I can heal, reload, whatever it is I got to do to kind of reset myself. That's what the decoy is for. And then obviously it helps me start the re-engagement because they're not looking at me. But there you have it. I think this is pretty simple, pretty to the point. I feel like this will be the typical striker build with the Tinkerer mask. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think is the typical striker? These are talents people would use for a typical striker slash Tinkerer build. This is pretty awesome. This thing hits insanely hard. But I'll leave you all here. I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you all on the next one.